Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 28 of the Dead Air podcast. Another very special episode this time around as we've got a guest joining us, the amazing, the magnificent, all caps, GabeFollower is in the virtual building. How you doing, bro?
Hello, I'm doing fine. How are you guys?
We're good. We're back again at it. It's another bright, early Saturday release on the podcast. Likely. Could be. This is one of the earliest ones we've ever done.
Something could really gone wrong. If this one's late, something.
Yeah.
We've never
We're
been late, to be
We've
fair.
Never been late.
Always on time. God, yeah. Every episode.
As
every
is
episode.
Valve.
It's
we
true,
operate on Dead Air time. It's very similar to Valve time, just kind of some things
when
get
it's
done.
ready, it's done.
Yeah.
And then it may
Normally.
be released.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. It's great to have you on, Gabe. Thought we'd have you around. I seen your huge video recently on the timeline of Deadlock, which I very much enjoyed.
Well, it's a brief timeline. Yeah, I'm still planning to do a proper video about the development.
Another one.
Yeah, so my idea is that since Deadlock is still in, up in the air of when it's gonna be finished, I thought that I'd rather do a few deep dives about previous iteration of Deadlock, because they eventually reached the dead end, or you can say deadlock. So it's probably a good thing about preservation of previous iteration of the game. And we don't know much about Citadel, the old era of Deadlock, but I'm still researching it. I'm trying to restore the timeline and proper history of the game.
Yeah,
so
we were talking to Lamorat about this as well, because I think there is a portion of where it's just a dead space, isn't it? I think there was a timeline where some people had access to some of those files, but obviously they haven't played in ages now, so that's gone.
not really.
Not Citadel. I don't think Citadel was ever really. No.
Oh, pre-25th. That's what I'm talking about. Sorry. Yeah, Citadel. Citadel is just a dead space.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's just the could-be Half-Life game of.
It is probably a Half-Life game. It was a Half-Life game, but it's important context is that Citadel started to be prototype in 2018, and it was developed at the same time as HLA, which was HLVR at the time. And I think that one of the ideas was to save resources on development assets and game files. So they tried to reuse some work from HLA into new multiplayer games. But that's a speculation right now. I also think that in terms of Half-Life universe, you're pretty much limited of what you can achieve in terms of gameplay. Because if you are speaking of Combine, there are aliens that you can create all sorts of interesting ideas. But the other team is rebels, and rebels are just humans. So you're literally fighting with rocks and sticks.
It's a very uphill battle.
Yeah.
Absolutely lasered.
Judging by the strings inside Deadlock, technically teams are still called Combine and Rebels. So.
Oh, seriously?
Because it's Guardians are still listed as Combine. It's Combine Boss, right? It's something like that.
Yeah. Combine Boss and Rebel Boss. Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting. Man, it was so weird. I remember even just, what was it, when Yoshi shared, obviously, that snippet of very early Source 2. It makes sense you say there as well.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Antlions from Half-Life Alyx, but it makes sense, obviously, that idea of you spent so much time on Alyx, reuse the assets to see what else you could build. Because there was speculation, right, that apparently they were looking into the idea, obviously, don't know how true this is, but one of the things they wanted to work in with that initial idea was having kind of a seventh man or whoever it was, an external person, sort of like Battlefield. Do you ever play Battlefield 3 and some of the older games where you had the overview map screen and you could give orders? There was that kind of stuff. But they wanted to test that with VR, didn't they?
I think that's a major misunderstanding.
Okay.
So I can briefly explain from where it came from. So allegedly in 2020, I think after the release of Half-Life Alyx, me and a few other community members got alleged screenshots of early prototypes of Citadel. And it was a top-down view with lots of placeholders on the maps. And for the longest time, we thought that it might be some sort of RTS game.
I see, yeah.
And since there are like other strings related to third-person and first-person game, we thought it might be like a crossover game between PC, between VR, like all sorts of crossovers possible. Wow. But in the end, as far as I understand, at one point of the development, they just had a top-down view button. So instead of minimap, you can press on a button, and your camera will flow up in the air, and you see the overview of the whole map in 3D, like actual overview. So
that's kind of sick, actually. That's a good idea.
That might be the reason why we misunderstood the early prototypes of Citadel at the time. And you can say that Citadel went through a long development cycle as a Half-Life game, because once again, the early prototypes started in 2018, and I believe that early footage that Yoshi shared was around this time. But we can almost certainly say that development of HL2 iterations, HL iteration in general, Half-Life iteration stopped at like 2021, and it was almost 3 years in development, so it's pretty long development cycle. Then we can say that they had an internal playtest, and something in this playtest happened, and they come up to the conclusion that we should probably switch to another universe. And my speculation is that they've understood that they are pretty limited within Half-Life universe. So then we can almost certainly say that Neon Prime iteration started in 2021 and was slowly developed until 2022, like end of 2022. So end of 2021 was the end of HL, then end of 2022 was the end of Neon Prime, and in the beginning of 2023 until the April technically of 2024, they slowly changed the art style of Neon Prime to what we have right now.
So my question to you is like, is there just like something up here in your brain that just allows you to remember all these details one for one? This is crazy. Actual Deadlock historian on the case. I love it.
I mean, I'm doing it for... Well, I started my original GabeFollower channel, main GabeFollower channel in 2015. So I have a long time of researching what happened in Valve games and what was developed, what was cancelled. So it's just part of my not a job, but my stuff.
It's a lifestyle.
Kind of.
That's fair.
That
makes sense.
I kind of enjoy it, and I'm pretty much doing it as a hobby, and still.
I know that when I first started, like getting into Deadlock, I think that you were one of the places I would go to a lot in terms of for information, just like little snippets, little tidbits here and there. And it was really nice, like actually seeing like more of the in-depth stuff, because obviously Jacky comes from like a CS background. I come more from like Wild Rift and Overwatch and PUBG. So it's kind of weird for me, like being introduced to the Valvosphere, right? Because there is so many things that I just don't know about. But
have you played old Valve games like Portal, Half-Life?
Yeah. I've played all of them. I mean, my brother used to just go around with the Gordon Freeman. Like that was his profile picture way back in like 2005, stuff like that. It was crazy. I learned that was all from him. So I have played all the old Valve games, but I was never like a big Valve head until now with Deadlock. So it is like I'm like a kid in a candy shop with Jacky around, and now with you here as well. It's like get to learn about all these things. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was funny. I remember, like, obviously, you remember, obviously, as soon as I got access to Deadlock, it was like kind of the brain expansion moment of what's left in the console? Like, what can I do, right? So it was like 2 days. I'll make a new config. I'm looking through everything. Then trying stuff out to make videos, because that was always like, at the time, obviously that's where we sort of started to get to know each other as well, Gabe, was like doing the CS2 stuff in the early days of limited tests, because I was posting way more stuff, because it was just like, Source 2 game, okay, what can I do with the console? It was fun to like play around and kind of be like, look at this before and after. What do you think of that? The Glock moves, you know? So it was the same with Deadlock, where I was just obsessed with like, dude, have you seen all the stuff we can do? Just finding all the weird little commands out. It was like super sick. I think that's one of the fun things about Valve in general, though, is it's got a bit of a different kind of approach. And I get what you mean, where it sucks you in, it becomes your lifestyle, because it's the same way for me, where it was like same kind of time, like 2014, 2015 was when I think I found a Reddit thread, right? And it was like, do you want to cast Counter-Strike? And me and Hugo applied and were like, yeah, we'll do it. And got put as like a duo together doing this YouTube channel, Twitch channel, whatever it was, casting games. And then you're just in, where it was like suddenly CS was not only my life like growing up, but then it was like, whoa, I can get paid for this and people are interested. Like, this is crazy. And then as it went on, it was like Deadlock came out. And I'll be honest, I haven't really spoke about this everywhere, but Deadlock now, just laps my regular CS hours, like nearly, you know, is dwarfing it to the point where I think in a far shorter period of time, those like 15k CS hours from 2008 till now, that's going to get wiped to bits. It just can't stop. Deadlock's replaced it. They've done it again. Valve have owned it.
And to be honest, that I'd say that Counter-Strike was less in my life than Dota at the time, and so I've played a lot of original game, which was a mod for Warcraft, and then I switched to Dota 2, which was also a huge part of my I'd say life, because I basically grew up playing Dota. But in so I before doing like a CS channel and all about Valve, I had a few Dota channels. But at one point I decided to quit Dota, because I finally understood that it took way too many nerves from my brain. I was just mentally ill out of playing Dota. And imagine that I also grew in a post-Soviet country, and toxicity level in these countries, especially in Dota, was just hugely influenced my behavior. And at one point I thought that it's not healthy to have like animal level of anger when you play like video games.
It's so funny.
I don't think I could imagine you angry, which is the weird thing as well. Like, you seem like the calmest dude, just always chill, you know, kind of vibing through life. So it's so fun. I just imagine there's one guy just going mid or tiny airwaves and you've just snapped. You're like, I've had enough.
It's funny because sort of the exact same situation. I had to quit League to finish my A-levels. Because I couldn't finish my education, because I would just play League and get so angry all the time.
It was kind of hard to stay positive whenever opponent screams that he had a relationship with your mother.
But then you re-queue anyway. That's the issue.
So now you eventually you start saying some similar things, and it just
what's become of me?
That's so good.
It's bad. I'm glad you're out of that phase though. 100%.
Yeah,
that's incredible. This just reminds me of like the early UK CS LAN days, because that's all it was. But obviously just in person, just face to face. Very aggressive behavior, probably for the best. That's slowly been left in the past.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've all moved on. Look at us. We're all grown up. We're playing Deadlock and just being happy and being like, I like the change. It's fun.
Well, with all the all voice line of well played, it is starting to grind on me a little bit, you know.
Is that getting
starting
to
to grate on me?
That's starting to break, yeah.
It
I did
is.
have one. There was a McGuinness yesterday. It was either yesterday or the day before. It was like this 45-minute long game. And it did not stop the entire game. It was just like, well played, be right back, just spammed constantly. You know, it's like, look, when's this going to end? Like, when will you give up? And they didn't. The entire game.
I think my favorite thread on Reddit recently was someone was asking, like, I've seen a lot of people doing all voice chat, well played. How do I do this? Someone explains very succinctly how to do it. And I'm not going to explain it to you either, okay? For this very reason. They explain it very succinctly. And then loads of people underneath were just saying, why would you explain this? Why would you tell people how to do it? Like, delete this now. That was my favorite interaction at the moment.
That's always the way, though. If you mass publicize, it will get fixed if Valve don't like it. Yeah. I hands down, like, firm believer, that's the way you approach these things. It was the old, what was it, the power-up buff where they'd spawn on top of each other.
I think the funniest
part...
That's
definitely a bug.
The funniest part that we encountered in Deadlock development is that when people figured out how to put GIFs in the chat.
Oh, yeah!
It was just... Like,
that was a good few days. That
cinema.
Was funny.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I'd forgotten about that. Just, it was like you'd load in and it'd just be a GIF would pop up and you're like, what's happening?
Right, directly underneath people in the text chat as well. It's like the little
formatted. It had the border.
Awesome.
It was so good.
Awesome. Yeah. It was actually perfect. I think they don't. I think they do need to add like Giphy to Deadlock.
Well, I think in Dota they kind of have animated emojis, and I think that they might do something similar when the heroes are way more detailed and their art style is more stable.
Yeah.
So maybe it might be a good idea to have like animated stickers, and instead of well played, you're just gonna spam some toxic emoji.
Yeah. Just
big thumbs up.
Moan Krill flexing. You're just like, great, I've been mauled again.
I mean, I can already see like the Abrams version of that, like the little thumbs up, like with his face off to the side. You can 100% envision it. So yeah, that would
or
be
Lash. Cool. Fuck,
oh,
I would hate Lash.
Lash just flipping you off again and again.
One where he's twizzling his mustache.
Yeah.
That would be good.
God damn.
I think there's a lot of potential for it. I mean, to be honest with you, when you said you're interested in Dota as well, Gabe, like it's curious to me because I think that there's a lot of people who have switched from Dota to Deadlock. And I know they're both MOBAs, both technically like have similar development teams.
Yeah.
But again, it's third person. You know, it's a shooter, like it's FPS, and I couldn't get my head around why so many people were leaving like Dota 2 to play Deadlock and enjoying it. I mean, I don't know how many stayed, but it was like an incredible amount. Was it for you more a case of this is a new Valve game, or are you genuinely interested in it because of the Dota 2 relevance?
I think that there is definitely an aspect that there is a new Valve game because Valve barely releases new titles, and it's I'd say I don't think that the Deadlock is direct competitor to Dota. It's just a completely different experience, and I think that people who enjoy Dota can just switch for one game or one match in Deadlock and then go back to Dota, and they will have a drastically different experience. So it's the same for CS. You can play CS and enjoy Dota at the same time. It's not really affecting your preferences in what you like the most. I'm not sure.
I don't know how people can play multiple competitive games. That's too much for me. It's too much for me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I have to do one, just the one. Otherwise, I'd go insane. I think CS and Deadlock. Come on. That's a recipe for disaster.
No, that's doable. That's a good, honestly, that's a healthier rotation because now it's like, for me, CS has become the secondary game where I'll play like 1 or 2 games where the homies hit you up. Then you go and play loads of Deadlock back to back. I find that far easier. Like that's because then it's still good. You get the enjoyment of like, I'll hop in, pop some heads, and then back to Deadlock. But yeah.
I'd also say that after my mental switch from Dota, I started enjoying single-player games way more than multiplayer games. And I honestly, I'd rather play some Baldur's Gate with my wife than screaming at each
so
other
cute.
in the CS.
Yeah.
I definitely became a casual player after going away from Dota. I don't particularly interested in the being competitive guy. I just play for fun. That's and it was a horrible situation for me when they removed the casual matchmaking in Deadlock and they forced everyone to play competitive because people became way more focused on getting some image rather than having fun inside the game.
I mean, we have this conversation all the time.
This image doesn't even matter because they're gonna be reset.
It's like doubly not real. It's it's Elo isn't real, but Deadlock Elo is especially like some kind of mystical like points where it's just
Absolutely.
like, what are you doing? But no, dude, I'm right there with you on that one. I hate that as well because it does upset me a bit where, especially, obviously having like a Deadlock audience with dead air stuff, you see it. And we were talking about it on the last episode where I was like, I've always said since the start, they never should have added ranked. Like, fair enough if they wanted to do it for that period of gathering data and then scrap it, but it all had to go. Any reference to it, the ELO, the badges, just get rid of it all. Don't talk about it until you bring it back on launch. Because you see the amount of people that commented when we were talking. They were saying, like, I've played like 300 hours, all bot games. Anytime I try to play actual Deadlock, post that ranked update, everyone just flames me. I feel like I'm not contributing everything, so I don't want to play, but I really like the game. And it's like, dude, I get that. Like, it's a fun game. It's a cool concept, cool setting. It's enjoyable and it feels super rewarding. But the caveat to that is, obviously, if you've got 5 other people that are like, you've wasted half an hour of my time, you're not going to want to play. Like, it ruins it for you. I find that hard. It's a hard balance where it's like, I don't know, man. I've proposed, obviously, scrap the whole idea entirely, rewind time because it never should have happened. That's another option. Or just like give some kind of different matchmaking, where it is a little bit more hand-holdy. It doesn't have to be bots, but a way to learn for new players or returning players.
If you're being completely honest, they even before they introduced the visible ranks, they already had a MMR system, but it was
with Neko score and everything.
No, within the Neko score. It was inside the game. The matchmaker had to. Matchmaker had to have some sorts of metrics to properly compile the team and the opponents against you. So there's not a huge skill gap between the players, but it wasn't visible, and because of that, people weren't so worried about it, I guess. There were people that were like focused on it, and they did the site Neko score. They did other sites that tried to evaluate numbers and come up with some sorts of numbers. But I think that the idea of people trying to create a competitive scene in Deadlock early kind of ruins the purpose of playtesting the game, of trying to find feedback.
100%. Because I think it's like, it's fine in the sense of obviously tournaments popping up and people wanting to aspire to be professional longer down the line. Like anything you can do to improve, we saw obviously that transition for like Freiburg and stuff, right? Where they actually went, fuck it, we'll leave Source, we'll play CSGO. They were vastly better because they were just there, they were around. They had like a year of practice ahead of everyone else. So it makes sense from that side. But I agree with you where it's like obsessing over hidden MMR, and because I think the most we kind of did, whereas it would be like, look, we're like first page on the watch tab, so we must be up in the elo. You know what I mean? And that was all. That's the only way you knew. But that was kind of fun. Then I think as it expanded, obviously, especially post August when we went public, like everyone was obsessed instantly with the idea of numbers. And I think that does kind of ruin it, where it's just like, come on, man. Like at most, just give your feedback on what's going on. Like if you've had a bad game, pinpoint why. You can't just go, I didn't get Oracle. Like no one cares. No one cares. Literally, it's not real.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think there's definitely an issue where there is also like when it first came out, there was a lot more people playing, but it's a weird one where because there was more people playing, there was a much vaster skill variety, so you had like much more fun games. But I do think that like that argument is fine in isolation, but I do think that there was way more players because it wasn't compy, right? It wasn't competitive. People weren't like all try hard all the time over a random rank. And I think you saw a lot more McGinnises back then too. I think you saw a lot more McGinnises. Like people were actually playing that character and enjoying it because it didn't really matter. So I just generally got more fun games. I do hope they add back like a casual queue.
I don't think really. Honestly, I don't think it won't change things much right now, even if they reward the competitive and add the casual. Because the time when they had like more than 100,000 players was the time when people were trying the game. And most of the people, like casual people who tried the game, they just left because they saw that the game is too early to play. And I constantly see messages and comments that when people say that, oh, we like the game, but we don't want to play it right now because it's like too early to play it. And basically the people that stayed in Deadlock are the most hardcore, like competitive style players. So maybe we are a little bit biased right now, and definitely when the game gonna be public, it'll change in a good way. But it is what it is right now.
I guess so. I think that it was funny because I'd made a video the other week, just a 7 video basically. But I was talking to Jacky after because I was trying to like explain my thought process in that video of like why I was doing certain things, and I was trying to cater to the people who maybe want to come back and try the game out. And I wanted to explain that little things. I went back and rewatched and I was like, there's so many things I just don't explain because there is so many small things that you just don't think about, like mantle crouch sliding. Like that's something I never explained in that video. I never explained mantle cancelling with melees. I never explained properly zipline like crouch boosting. These are all complicated, but I didn't even explain like some of the more simple stuff. I mean, I think I got quite a lot across in that video, but it is crazy. I'm not sure how they fix that going into when they go public. I'm not sure when it'll be. But they need a tutorial, but I don't think they'll release one during this period. I just don't think it's coming. Because it is quite bloated already.
Well, plus it just changes so much, patch to patch. Like you never quite know if those mechanics will still be around or if they're going to be retuned. But it is hard. I think that's the funny bit as well, though, because it's like collective knowledge that, you all kind of build up over a period of time where obviously like we've been here for a year. We're now like at this level of understanding the pyramid of Deadlock. But especially when it wasn't publicly available to talk to everyone, it's like you backhand share information from one another. It'd be like, I've realized you can do this. I've realized you can do this. Now it's out there. I think it's just you've got a lot of like, not misinformation, but it was accurate at the time where there's people that like came in for a week, were like, I love this game, made a video on how to play the game. And now have disappeared, never updated it. So you've got like guides that are just completely irrelevant. God, yes. So people are playing with like outdated info, bad habits that they don't need. And then even if they do get good at certain habits, that habit might not be a thing in a week's time. So it's a weird like flow of you have to constantly just be okay with change and able to adapt. And some people obviously are better than others. But that's kind of why.
It's so interesting you bring that. I've never thought of it like that before because we do live in an era of YouTube Andes. Like, I mean, I caught my handyman the other day YouTubing how to fix the sink. I thought that was crazy.
In your house?
Yeah, bro. It's not acceptable. But
I was told him to fuck off. Done it myself. Just been like, look, mate, I've got YouTube, homie. Like,
I was like, what is going on here?
That's mental. Anyway, ChatGPT, what is plumbing?
So anyway, he knew a guy where to get the parts, so I just left him to it. But speaking of that, it is crazy. We do live in an era of like YouTube solves, right? YouTube solutions. You don't really have that for Deadlock because like you say, Gabe, you have to be really hardcore. Like you have to be in the Discord. You have to be looking at all the new little things that are coming up. It's wild. I'm also curious at the moment because we got the word from Valve was like these are going to be longer patch cycles. And I think that they're going back to like the 2-week hot fixes. I don't know what's happened since then. But we're getting a hell of a lot more patches than usual. So it's nice to know that the dev team's still very passionate, though. I appreciate that.
I think that the main focus right now is doing because definitely it's hard to deny that Deadlock already formed some sort of community, and want it or not, you still need to somehow maintain it. And as far as I understand, they shifted to the idea that they do like once in a week or two small hotfixes, and then once in a month, let's say, are gonna do like fun experiments, basically. Let's test 3 lanes, let's test new heroes, let's test new items, and it's gonna happen less frequently, but they at least they are more focused on the actually experimenting with the early game, not focusing on just polishing already existing stuff that probably isn't a good thing in terms of game being still in like early alpha. I'd rather have an experience in Deadlock when they gonna drastically change the game all the time. But since Deadlock already have formed some sort of community, they just can't allow to do it right now, because people will be complaining way too much. And that's one of the things that recently I saw in the I guess it was one of the interviews of Min Lee, the creator of Counter-Strike. And he said that he left the Counter-Strike team because players were constantly complaining whenever he tried to introduce some experimental changes. Or like some sort of tests, or like adding new ideas. People were complaining all the time, and it's in terms of being like a dev and trying to do something new. It's hard when you're working on some system for a week, for a month, and you want to test how people react to it. And people just complaining because like we wanna have how it was before. We don't wanna have something new. That's one of the problems, especially in Valve games, because they are hyper focused on competitive things, and people hate even small changes. And I think that Counter-Strike 2 drastically affected by it. Because, in my opinion, first of all, they shouldn't have released the game from beta as soon as they did. It should have been for like 2 more years in so-called beta state.
The OT, yeah.
And second of all, they should definitely consider changing the game, or like remaking huge part of game from scratch, because technically CS2 is not a new game. It's just a port of old CSGO code on the new engine with some systems rewritten, but it's not a new game. It's
no.
So there was an exploit. We already reported it, and people who found it got paid by Valve. But there was an exploit to see the names of closed app IDs on Steam. And literally, near the announcement of Counter-Strike 2, it was still called CSGO Source 2. I think that they did the marketing switch literally last minutes of development. They didn't thought about it as being Counter-Strike 2, but then they thought it probably makes, in terms of marketing, it'll be better to call it Counter-Strike 2. And speaking of which, they had the idea of Counter-Strike 2 way before than like 2022, 2023. Because initially CSGO wasn't supposed to be the next Counter-Strike. CSGO was supposed to be just the port of Counter-Strike concept to the consoles. And it was delegated to the third-party studio. And at the same time, they thought, "Oh, we're probably gonna release this experimental port of Counter-Strike to the consoles, and then we're gonna develop Counter-Strike 2." It was their plan at the time, but when CSGO started to snowballing, they thought, oh, we probably just gonna continue this cycle of development of CSGO, and they eventually never got back to the idea of developing the next Counter-Strike.
I think that was the funny thing, where it was like, I remember back then, obviously, especially when like you say, fucking Hidden Path, just cooking up this like abomination of a Counter-Strike game, where like CSGO was terrible on launch. Like that game was absolutely awful.
It felt like an attempt to introduce Counter-Strike into a Call of Duty style game. It was like a bit
fog,
weird.
The ice skating, just the overall vibe of the game. Like everything was so. Well, I remember like me and all the guys who play Source, was just like, what's the point? What is the point of playing this? Like this is terrible. But that was always the funny thing, because kind of along the lines of what you're saying, that was always the idea I subscribed to. Is I remember back when we were getting like kind of, the early footage of like, whoa, new engine from Valve. They're trying out like some ideas of what could be a Left 4 Dead 3 remake from Plantation. Like they're trying out a new version of Dust 2. And it was really interesting. We were like, oh, right. But I remember speaking to people where I was saying, well, if we do get a Source 2, it won't be for us. It's more for Valve. It's going to be the same game, but for them to update it and take care of it. So it was very weird when it came to that precipice of like, obviously Richard did the article and everyone was like, there's no way they're just going to call it Counter-Strike 2 and make it a new game.
Yeah.
Because that did seem preposterous. That seemed weird, where it was like, really? You're actually going to brand it as a brand new game?
And I commented on his post that you might be wrong. And it was at the same time when we saw that on the back end, it was still called CSGO Source 2. And that's when we like misunderstood each other, because he got his his information from, I guess, someone less on the development side, but in the like team and communication side, press side of Valve, but we got actual info from the backend, and then we confused the idea, because I thought that there is no way they're gonna call CS2, because they had CS2 as a project on Source 2 since like 2013. We still have evidence of folders that are called CS2 inside the Source 2 early branches, because right now CS2 is called CSGO in a folder. And that's another thing about Valve, that they are always recycling previous attempts to develop something. Because if you look at the Dust 2 remake, and then we also look at the leaked Left 4 Dead 3 screenshots, we can find that almost half of the assets that are used on CSGO remake of Dust 2.
That like hose hell, all of the palms. I remember.
Yeah, it was developed for Left 4 Dead 3 at the time. It was this Sirocco style buildings, old ancient sand-based buildings, and it's just funny how Valve just tries to avoid spend more resources when they already did something before.
I as a last topic on that one, I do wonder, like in a Valve server somewhere, how many staggeringly different builds of Left 4 Dead 3 there was. There must be like 3 versions somewhere that are just completely different. Because I remember there was that leak of like, it's going to be open world. Then they were like, actually, this kind of doesn't work. Like the linear narrative style was better. Man, there was so much stuff that I think could have, if we got it, could have been cool, but it's a shame. I feel like that's one where I don't know if we will get a Left 4 Dead 3 at this point. It feels like it's kind of a bit too far away,
Yeah, as far as I know, the last huge iteration, like actual attempt to create the Left 4 Dead 3, died because Source 2 wasn't ready to have it. So it wasn't about game being not fun or Valve wasn't able to justify having Left 4 Dead 3. Just it was purely technical reasons. The engine wasn't prepared to have a first-person game, because you can say that Half-Life Alyx was a first-person game, but not actually the first-person game of on Source 2 that was publicly released was Counter-Strike 2. So it's a hard topic of discussion, but apparently with the Deadlock, it seems that Valve finally reaching the point of when they're pretty sure that Source 2 is now capable of having new titles, and I think that from now on we might see way more content, like actual gameplay content from Valve, rather than having just service-based games that are supported with some patches.
Isn't there like a load of isn't there like a load of animations like currently in the Deadlock files is just unused? I know I saw like a swimming animation recently. I don't know if that was real.
I don't think it was a swimming. It's just someone misinterpreted the falling animation. It wasn't
really?
swimming. Yeah. I've checked inside the files, and it was something like fall 01 animation, something like that. So I think it's just people being silly a bit.
And the facial animations, that they're all just part of Deadlock as well.
Oh yeah. The old Lash model have full face rig, and you can actually animate his speech. I'm pretty sure that they won't do that in terms of optimization. I'm not sure. They might, but it honestly doesn't make a lot of sense because you don't see your character all the time. It's only his back, and why would you? And also the game is so dynamic that there is no way to properly see how your character is speaking and other characters speaking.
I mean, the only reason I bring it up is because you guys talk about Source 2, and it's like this seems like a perfect place to just test those things. Like, do they work, and could be used in other games?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it is interesting that they're not hijacking. I don't want to say hijacking Deadlock, but the rest of Valve is testing stuff through
it's
it.
It's a field for experiments. Yeah.
Which is nice. I mean, I'd love to see Left 4 Dead 3. More dead in my life, please.
More dead.
More dead.
It'll be interesting to see if Valve would be able to do a Left 4 Dead 3, because throughout all these years since the Left 4 Dead 2, there were many attempts by other companies to create a spiritual successor of Left 4 Dead.
Back for Blood.
And almost all of them were a complete failure. So there was a Back 4 Blood, then there was a game created by Czech and it was Anacres. I'm not sure how it's called. Right now there is another game by Remedy, creators of Alan Wake, FCC Firebreak or something like that. And almost all of them failed, like drastically failed, hugely failed. And right now it's confusing. Is it the genre that is not relevant anymore, or is it just the bad games that weren't?
It's bad games. It's bad games, in my opinion. I mean, I've actually gone down a massive hole with all this, because I really did like Left 4 Dead 2, and I like my zombie games in general, and I have gone down the rabbit hole of these games. And I was actually talking to Jacky about this. I think what podcast episode was it? It was
like 3 ago, yeah.
3 ago. But I was watching back recently the whole Valve voiceover for Left 4 Dead 2, like where they go through the whole game and they explain their thought process. And it's crazy, like there's so many little things that they thought about that when you play all of these other games, none of them are in them.
Absolutely.
Designing 50 plus animations for zombies falling one way or this way, and then 50 plus gore like templates. It's that stuff really. I think that stuff is the stuff that makes you really feel like you're enjoying the game. It's like visceral impact, and it's a very small thing. But then you look at a game like, for instance, Back 4 Blood. There's no impact. There's no zombie impact, stuff like that.
They're
I think it's bad games.
Wooden dolls.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. It's like mannequins. So I think Left 4 Dead 3 would bang, because all they have to do is just hire some good writers, which I don't think could be too hard for them to do, and then just do it again. Roll it back with Source 2.
Yeah, honestly, I think it might be a good timing for a game like Left 4 Dead, because right now it's obviously that the gaming community and industry in general, well, I'd say mostly the players, are shifting towards games that are old-time co-op style games when there are 4 players and there is no matchmaking and you're just connecting to the lobby with your friends and you're having fun. I think people are now there is a request for games like that to just have fun with friends and not have some sorts of algorithm that connects you with other players that put you in matchmaking and just trying to satisfy your TikTok brain to have a short insulin. I'm not sure. Not insulin. The dopamine.
Dopamine. Yeah. I got you. Yeah. I knew what you meant immediately.
Yeah, I felt the vibe.
You were fine. Yeah. You were fine. You were on the vibes. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, Peak came out. Repo came out. All these games have been super successful recently, and they're just silly physics, fun games. Yeah. I think right now, as much as I really do love Deadlock, and I'd still love competitive games. So I've played competitive games all my life, and I will continue to. But I do think right now is the rise of like the 4-player games, like where you just get a small group of friends together.
I think absolutely. I think so, and you can look at how I'd say almost all competitive games right now are failing, hugely failing. So there are attempts from big studios, there are attempts from new studios trying to develop a next competitive esport game, but all of them are facing the same issues. They are trying to maintain the audience, but they are not interested in it. Yeah. You can see even at the successes, if you see at Marvel Rivals, it was a huge success backed up by the community love, by the content creators love. But you can see the downfall of online, of peak online, and right now of constantly playing people. And I don't think it'll be able to reach the same amount of players as Counter-Strike or as Dota or as Fortnite.
I think it's, in a way, it's like it's too late. For like as weird as that is to say, where it feels like obviously like times can keep going on, people keep releasing games. I think it's just one of those where at this point you've got like generations that have grown up. Right? It's like I've got my kids into Counter-Strike, or like my dad got me into Counter-Strike. You know what I mean? Like there's that lifestyle element of it where like pick your poison. Are you going to become a Dota player? Are you going to become a Counter-Strike player? Are you going to play Fortnite? Like there's enough to go around to feel like you have the best in slot in every category, right? Like third-person game, first-person game, MOBA. They're like it's all right there for you. Where it feels kind of pointless of just making another one with another setting, and then like you say, you've got to get the community involved. It's funny you bring up Min as well, because like obviously we were talking at the HLTV Awards, and he was saying to me like a big reason for him of making that new like PvE game and making a co-op shooter, as he was saying, like it's just everyone's a pain in the ass. Like everyone just complains, everyone's rude. Like no one can just play a game and have fun. It's like if they don't beat the other person, they're having a shit time. If the other person beats them in the wrong way, they're having a shit time. And he's like, I don't know how to make people have fun. But if you're just playing with your friends, you're working towards one goal. And it doesn't matter how you do it, right? Like if you want to play the tank, if you're more of a ranged guy, if we're going to play like a heist game together, each of us can have fun in our own ways. And I think that the twist on that in like you say, Blank, with the newer games is that like using your friends for the enjoyments. You've got a fun game concept of like, 4 players, but then it's like we throw in some voice modifiers. You talk in game. You can kind of troll each other. Like content from your friends to add to the top of the game. Feels like that is the next sort of step we're going down. I think actually, like if Valve did do a take on that, if you take some of those elements, you've got like proximity voice chat in Left 4 Dead, you can kind of like goof around a bit, troll a little bit. There could be some fun things, like especially with like Source's sound in Source 2. You're in like a condensed tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
You hear your friend echoing from the other end, right?
Yeah, they have a whole sound engine to do that. Honestly, I think that that's one of the reasons why I'm interested in how Deadlock will go in the future, because Valve are one of the few companies that can spend 8 years. Deadlock was as a game, as a whole game, as a project was development almost for 8 years, and I'm sure that they spent a lot of money on all the human resources just to do that silly experiment. I still think that Deadlock is kind of a silly experiment of trying to come up with the next game. But since Valve is a private company, they don't have to explain to investors of why they're spending billions of dollars on and 8 years of development of some game that might die in a week. I see that it is a fascinating experience, and I'm really interested in seeing its future and how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's a definitely a weird one. I think that, like Jacky was saying, it's a case of, you have all these different genres that you have open already, but I think that's where Deadlock might succeed in the sense it is sort of a new genre, and it will fit in a new spot. And we already saw immediately as soon as they started making it, there's like all these other companies said, we're making our new third-person MOBA immediately. I mean, it did catch on. I hope it does well. I really do. There's some thoughts I have, like having 12 people in one match is quite a lot in my opinion. But again, I don't know how they solve that, because dropping it down to 5 feels a bit weird. But maybe they end up experimenting with something like that in the future. It's a wait and see job, really. But again, I agree with both of you in the sense that it is a scary experiment to go for.
I think the difference is with Deadlock as a concept and why it transcends. Here you go. We're getting into this, right? Why it transcends the issues of other modern games that want to kind of be like a shoehorn into, we're going to be the Counter-Strike killer, we're going to be the WoW killer, like whatever, right? Deadlock is one of these games where it is a multi-game. You've got the core MOBA experience where like people can look at it and go, oh, it's Smite, but it's not. It's nothing like Smite. It's its own thing. You've never played anything like it if you haven't tried it once. Then you kind of pull back a bit and you're like, oh, there's a dating sim in the game. I can play like an Otame game, right? Then you'll have like a little workshop mode where you can do like custom game modes like in Dota, I imagine. Then you'll have like the official ones where it's, do I play like the 3v3 1-lane game mode? Do I play the 4-lane game mode? Do I play ability draft? I think that's the edge that Deadlock has, is especially once it reaches like version 1.0 and it's fleshed out, it's got its theme. They could just mess around with what they've already built and be like, is this fun? Do you enjoy that? Cool. Have that extra game mode. Have this extra thing.
Exactly. I think that's one of the aspects of inside Valve is that as same as we discussed with the Minley, it's devs from various teams at Valve just saying like, guys, fuck you. We are tired of you complaining. We're gonna do the other thing. And it's like it's just Valve's outcry in an era that's okay. We're gonna do other thing.
That's your next title, Mag. You got to drop that one in. Valve's middle finger to the industry, and the middle finger says Deadlock. Because
as I said that I'm postponing the video about Deadlock because it's hard to do a proper video because it outdates pretty quickly. If you're doing any sorts of explanation, it can be irrelevant next week, for example. Even if I already prototype some sorts of videos and the title even 1 year after probably gonna be Deadlock Valve's new miracle of failure. It's just my video essay on the topic of how even if the Deadlock is a failure, it's still a good experiment and good experience for Valve to test the waters.
I love that people are going to clip you out of context on that when you were saying that the patch is out next week. That's going to be on Reddit.
Just have that one snippet. We could repost that sound clip every week.
We could, yeah.
There you go. That's how we keep people guessing. GabeFollower says new patch next week. Just no context otherwise. That'll be on Twitter immediately. But yeah, dude, I think that is like the big kind of like so true moment. Is that just when you have that realization that, like, if you worked at Valve and you worked on Counter-Strike, I would be so bummed out because it's like, I remember the one for me that was like a huge eye opener on top of everything. Just the reaction to CS2 was gross, where it was like, fair enough. I do agree with you. It shouldn't have come out. The limited test wasn't ready when they decided to make it the public game and say, like, there's no second major, we're all playing CS2. It wasn't ready. It's a lot better now, and it could be a lot better. But it's one of those where, like, the game wasn't that bad. The game was cool, and it had a lot of good ideas. If they kept improving it, it would have been sick. But all of those devs, you're trying to do anything, and you're just getting met with, like, this is awful, what have you done? You've ruined the game.
Yeah.
So when they did that PC Gamer article, and they're saying, like, we want to add new guns, we want to add new game modes, we've got lots of ideas. I imagine you probably did. And then you've seen all of this rhetoric online.
Oh,
and gone, you know what? What's the point? Like, do we actually need to? Or is it all right if I bring my desk into the Deadlock area and make a cool new character that's a cat? And everyone's like, dude, come make the cat character right now. Like, get in here. But the golden goose egg only lasts so long. Because even now, like you said, it's too far gone. Where Deadlock has existed publicly for like 8 months or whatever. So it's not just... this is cool, new update, love it. What are they doing with the game? It's changing. You now have a large percentage of people that do just go, what are you doing? Why have you changed that? Why are you doing this? And that's the bit that I don't like. It's one of those where it's like, guys, good, like collectively, wind your necks in, like let's all calm down. They're going to change stuff. The game could look completely different and play completely different in a year from now, and that might be a good thing. But everyone's like too hung up on like, don't you dare change my Geist. That's my Geist. You change her, I'm out. Like, it's too much, guys. Chill.
Yeah. It's a problem. I am like, that's the one thing that does concern me. And I hope they do keep experimenting with stuff, and I hope that 3-lane isn't the last experiment to be thrown out there. I also hope that 3-lane might not even be the last experiment they do with the lanes in general.
Because if you take a look at the Deadlock files, you can see that throughout the whole development cycle of 8 years, they constantly changed the amount of lines. They had 6 lines, then they had 4 lines, but with 2 neutral lines that will connect these 4 lanes in between each other. Then they added teleporters that basically replaced these 2 neutral lines. They experimented all time with amount of lanes, and I believe that it is not set in stone for now. Because Valve are widely known for their constant experiments with the project, and I think Deadlock is a huge and a pretty successful example of how Valve can drastically change the game even during its public existence already. Once again, they are a private company. They don't majorly care about trying to explain the community's reaction to some changes. They can do whatever they think is better for the game. They still have to keep in mind audience reaction, but I think it's more about them being sure that changes make sense long term.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I can't remember what it was that sparked my interest. You were saying something earlier, Gabe, about just the game in general genres, but like the thing with Dota 2 as well is like it just has this massive sprawling world, and it does have really, really cool characters all in it. However, in my mind, I'm like, when I tested out Dota 2, I'm like, okay, you get all the voice lines and stuff, but when you're playing Deadlock, you really feel the personalities of the characters.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the one thing that will send potentially Deadlock into the stratosphere, because it does have this whole mystique to it. It has like a whole storyline behind it, context,
definitely
all the lore.
Story writers involved. Yeah,
it's crazy. So I do think that, and I think that's one thing that does really keep like the community together, is just people have their favorite characters, people have their favorite heroes. It's amazing.
There's a whole community who are not actually playing the game, but just drawing arts and just loving the characters, charming characters and their connection between each other. And we also saw that Valve experimented and still considering doing comics. That will even expand the universe further. So I'm really interested in what they are planning in terms of expanding the lore and making the lore more making the core part of the game is focused on the lore rather than just gameplay.
That's why when you see them actually do PvE right, they actually release a PvE.
I would like to see short SFM films as they did with Team Fortress. I'd like to see even PvE, because like Team Fortress had PvE game modes, man versus machine, and I'd like to see that. And I think Deadlock has its potential to do that properly, because judging once again by the files, it's a highly modifiable game, and also considering that huge parts of Deadlock's team are Dota team, and we can see that they are open for community to modify the game and make custom stuff, like especially like Dota arcade game modes. I'm sure that Dota style custom game modes, as you mentioned, for Deadlock might be a huge part of the community, and the community, there might be a whole community who don't care about Deadlock as a game, but they do care about custom games inside Deadlock.
That's legitimately, that's the kind of that's the way I've always looked at it. When in my like heart of hearts, I feel like this game is going to blow up for just the core game. But I know there's going to be that huge element of, if Valve go down that road, you'll have a massive community of people. Like all the people that comment and say, like, I love the game, but I only play bot matchups.
Yeah.
If you can jump in and play like the Dota seasonal events, where it'd be like wave defense, the tower defense, mate. They were unreal. I didn't really like playing Dota, but anytime it was like holiday season or like, you know, I'd jump on, I'd be playing those for like weeks, trying to kill the golden chicken, the like dragon or whatever, Frostivus, all these different events. It was peak gaming, like unbelievable scenes. In some of that in Deadlock would be huge.
Yeah, in the last Battle Pass, they experimented with the mini games, their Street Fighter style of games, their fishing simulator. Like, it's unbelievable how much they're trying to expand the possibilities of their already existing games. And I also not concerned, but I'm interested in why there are so little discussions of how Asia or like Chinese players can affect Deadlock. Because Deadlock right now does not exist in China. It does not exist in the Asia region in general. And this is the audience that are hyper focused on this style of games. And even if NA won't be too much interested in Deadlock, or like you won't be too much interested in Deadlock in general, Chinese market and Asia market might be a huge part of Deadlock.
I think so. Like it's they love high skill cap games, and I would categorize Deadlock as a high skill cap game, like something they can really like put tens of thousands of hours into. I think Deadlock is sort of that game. So I'm curious about that as well.
And it's one of those as well where it makes sense. I think like and I was already kind of hypothesizing this, where obviously we saw recently, right, they're starting to gut a lot of the skulls and kind of blood that's being depicted on item cards. Like, makes sense. If you want to partner with Perfect World, release it officially. Like, that's the best way to do it, right? Like, gut all that stuff globally whilst you're in a period of no one's going to care or remember it. So if everything gets replaced with non-skulls, then that's cool. It doesn't look that bad. And I think, again, as well, it's the added element of, you release a game like Deadlock in that territory, Perfect World would go crazy with the merch, which in turn, they would buy in. And even if you don't play the game, people will get a connection to these cute, lovable characters. Like, and it's also that element of, I think, the other reason why CS is a lifestyle and it's blown up, but it's not very easy to, like, get into it in terms of, like, you couldn't go to a CS event and cosplay. What are you like? You're going to cosplay a team? You're going to cosplay a
they do wear the socks. But
that's it. You get like the one guy just wearing the, you know, whatever his name is. Can't remember his actual agent name. But that's it.
Agent
Whereas I think like with Deadlock, there you go. But with Deadlock, I think the possibilities for everyone to kind of just be like, I love the game because I want to cosplay it. I love the game because I love Abrams alone. There's so much there. I think it doesn't even have to be a game. For that kind of audience, you'd have people that would just be like, look, I just like going to events because I like the idea of the game. I don't really play, but I like the game.
I'm waiting for someone to cosplay Green Abrams on the next international for Deadlock. But
it'll happen.
Speaking of Chinese audience or like Asia audience, there are precedents of Deadlock on of Dota arcade games that are end up being their own games, as Dota Auto Chess, as other and Valve's attempt to buy the team and then create their own Dota Auto Chess. It's a whole story. It's an interesting precedent, and amount of already existing content in Deadlock that people just can reuse within this universe and within the characters. It's kind of interesting what people will came up with, and also it's all sorts of grind style games, mobile style, constantly grinding, some clicking simulators. It's also really popular in Asia market and mobile market. I think that there are a few devs in Deadlock team. I will not call them out, but there are a few devs in Deadlock team who are hugely involved in the development of Steam Deck and controller support. And I see that Deadlock teams are considering the full accessible controlment of the game on controller. Of gamepad.
I see.
And honestly, it's not that far of Valve to collaborating with Xbox, for example, or Microsoft to release the Deadlock on Xbox. It was way harder back in the days when PS3 and Xbox was a different architecture, but right now the consoles are basically PCs and the same architectures of PC, and it's not that hard to do a console port of Deadlock. And even the, not sure about mobile version, but definitely a console might be a huge part of the audience in the future if Valve would attempt to do something like that. And speaking of mobile version, I really like how Deadlock wasn't even public and wasn't allowed to talk about publicly, but some Chinese company already created a mobile repo.
I don't see it.
It was fucking,
I'm protecting you.
The like Abrams in a suit with his book. Stay away from this book. And it's just like, all right,
okay. Interesting.
The funny thing was with that, it was the fact that obviously because a lot of the icons were like royalty free, just video game whatever assets, they used all the exact same icons as well. So it was like McGinnis turret was the McGinnis turret.
Yeah.
I think it was wild that he just turned McGinnis into this tiny little anime girl as well. It's like, okay, interesting, perfect. Yeah, it was odd. It was very, very odd.
It was kind of funny. It was
funny. The weirdest part is that the game was backed up by Tencent, so it wasn't just some indie company. It was backed up by Tencent.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's actually crazy.
It is a good gag.
Damn, it's left my mind again. That's absurd. Well, that thought's gone. It's out the window. But yeah, it's been fun. Very, very fun. I mean, following it all along, all the way through. I mean, get rid of the Deadlock clones at the end of the day. That's what we talk about. In terms of controller support, if you've not watched it, I very much recommend watching Ido playing Lash on controller. He's currently doing a little series to get to max rank, which I don't believe he will. But he still has like pretty decent movement on the controller. I just don't know how
people
they'll
playing
do
on trackpads.
Dude, people are playing Deadlock on everything. I've seen there was a guy playing Deadlock on some bananas with sensors. There's a guy playing the DK bongo drums. Everyone's just like. To be fair, it is one of those games you can kind of aim isn't that pivotal. You don't really, sadly, you need to aim that much in Deadlock. Like you can get away with kind of playing on DK bongo drums. So
it's a MOBA.
Yeah, that's why Blank's gameplay looks the way it does. Wait.
I really enjoyed
bongo drums.
I really enjoyed watching walkthrough of Dead Souls Is it Dead Souls? Dead Souls.
Or Dark Souls, or
Dark Souls. Sorry. It was which was the first game. It was not the
Demon Souls.
Demon Souls, not the Dark Souls. Yeah, Demon Souls, and I really enjoyed the playthrough of some girl going through the game using sex toy. Like, I'm really waiting for someone to play Deadlock using sex toys.
Mate, I'd give it a go. Honestly, I think I'd probably I could do pretty well. Yeah, I'd give it a go.
You would go crazy style.
You could be my duo, Blank. You'll control it. We'll use the vibration. Like, we'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
All right, you go left.
Oh, mate, that's good. Well, on that bombshell, that's a hell of an ending. This was good. I think this was a good podcast. There was a lot of
this one. It's
been of tidbits, a lot of like kind of technical talk, ideas, the crossing of all the Valve IP. It was.
I've been caught in the middle of it, which has been nice. Yeah, I've been absorbing as much info as possible.
It's like you've gone to a Christmas party and it's two of your uncles just talking. Yeah. You're there like, what? Uncle, shut up.
Unc's gone crazy, man.
Yeah. What is a Counter-Strike? Yeah. What is an Underlords?
Stop showing me all these artifacts.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll put them away. Oh, but there you go. All right. Anything else you want to slip in before we close this one down? The original GabeFollower himself. Any last
promo
thoughts?
Time. Yeah.
Anything you want to
get that promo in?
Yeah. Fun fact of the week is that originally Artifact was the game with the voxel-based destruction, and then they decided to switch the title to the card game. And originally, Dota card game was supposed to be a Valve multiverse game between Valve games, and it's supposed to be like a Mario Bros style when there are fighting. That would have been way better. Yeah,
that would have been sick.
And that's a fun fact that Valve constantly reusing the ideas and constantly reusing the game titles, and I think Deadlock might be one of these games, and people just should be prepared that it'll continue to evolve.
It's gonna get gutted. No.
Yeah. Deadlock's here to stay.
Confirmed. New Minecraft by Valve.
Yeah.
Wait, they kind of actually did, right? They tested that. It was like the town. That's the artifact.
Yeah. That's the artifact.
That's actually was the original. Oh, mate.
Yeah. It was. Then in the final hours of Half-Life, they called that it was called ARTI, but it was initially called Artifact.
Arty, Arty was Artifact. Oh,
they had to switch the title because people would then confuse that Arty was Artifact. And
that's blown my mind. I could forgotten that existed until now. And then I was like, I do remember this voxel town.
Yeah. And another, speaking of Minecraft, another fun fact of the day is that Valve at one point tried to buy Minecraft to be released on Steam, but they never came up to the deal with the Mojang and creator of Minecraft to release Minecraft on Steam.
So there's a timeline where Valve could have bought Minecraft before Microsoft and
I think it wasn't about buying the Minecraft as a game, but buying
just to
the
have it like
possibility.
On Steam.
Yeah, buying the possibility of releasing it on Steam. Yeah.
Damn.
Well, a lot of bombshells been dropped, right? I like that. Yeah,
I know.
This has blown my mind. This is an amazing way to end it. Yeah,
it's the best outro we've done. Normally, it's just like a terrible meme.
Some of that.
It's actual facts. Yeah, boom. Wow.
Brilliant.
Okay. There you go. That's a hell of an episode. All right. Well, there you go, everyone. I'm sure most of the viewers at home are familiar with what GabeFollower gets up to, but if you're not, definitely check him out on all the social media platforms, multiple channels as well, of course, depending on where you're from. Easy to stay up to date with all his content. Some of the best that you will get in the scene when it comes to accurate, true representative information on most Valve IPs. It's all there. The guy's got the same level of craziness that we do when it comes to sitting here for 12 hours to make sure one shot looks right. So I appreciate you popping on, bro. It's been really nice to kind of have a bit of a chin wag. And
it was a pleasure.
We get to do it again sometime.
Definitely. It was a pleasure. I like all the topics that we covered. It was a huge variety of topics, and even sex toys mentioned. So,
oh yeah, absolutely, brilliant.
Oh God,
take care, guys. See you soon on the next episode of Dead Air.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.